Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video is giving out recommendations for other people, for other companies, to subcontract for me, etc. Or to just recommend other people for their potential clients or clients. Generally, it's something these days I don't do because in the past it's caused me too many problems. I tell people these days I deal with a very small group of people. Back in the day, I used to deal with a lot of people. And again, the more people you deal with, the more problems you get. I still know, I suppose I know a lot of people, but I only deal with a small group of people. Why? As I said, I don't want problems. More people, more problems. Now, this is where I have people asking me for services, be it investigations, be it protection, etc. And I tell them, no, we can't do it. I'm too busy, or I cannot go to that location, etc. Or it's too expensive. And they ask me, okay, do you know anybody? Could you recommend somebody? And generally these days my answer is no. One of the big things where, again, I've offended a couple of people by not giving recommendations, was doing background checks in the US. I used to be able to get them done cheaply and quickly because I used to do them myself. I had access to the private investigators' databases, etc. But I left the US a long time ago. And I have clients that used to put quite a quantity of work my way, and when I finished doing these background checks, they asked me, is there somebody you can recommend? No. Why? Because the people I knew that offered background checks were generally was going to charge these clients a hell of a lot more than I was charging, and the chances were they were not going to provide them with the same standard of service. My clients come to me, generally everything's turned around within 24 hours, and the prices were very competitive, especially if they brought in quantity. What I used to charge $100 for, and this is one of the issues, I recommended somebody to somebody when I was traveling and couldn't do the background. And what I charged $100 for, this person asked my client for $800. And you know what? There was good profit on $100. So this is where I'm very wary of recommending other people. Even for jobs, you know, I'll connect people these days if there's no potential harm to me, if it's not going to cause me any issues. But I remember one job many years ago in London. I had somebody chasing me for work. He needed a job, he needed this, he needed that. And I recommended him to one of the boutique companies I was working for, and I said he went for an interview, they liked him, offered him a job. The boss of this company was going to meet him at a location in London, introduce him to the client, etc. and all good. Next thing I know, the boss of the company's phoning me up saying, where is he? He didn't turn up. So the guy, when I called him, he didn't answer my calls. So even though I recommended him for a job, he got the job. He's telling me he needed the job. He couldn't even be bothered to phone me up and say, tell them I'm not interested. Or when he's offered a job and arranged to turn up to the job, phone up the people at the company and phone up the boss of the company and say, look, I found something else, sorry, etc. So that made me look bad. So this is where I'm very wary of giving out recommendations. And I see a lot of companies online, a lot of security companies saying, oh, we've got partners in various countries, etc., etc. And I've had people come to me asking me to do work in various countries. And I know for a fact a lot of these companies are dealing with people in those countries they've never met before. You know what? I can have partners virtually in every country in the world where there's a security company. You just put a shout out on social media and people will send you in their websites, etc., etc. But does it mean these people are any good? If you don't know people, how can you trust them? I know of one job many years ago in Latin America. Some American guy, because he phoned me up asking if I could help afterwards, and it's like, nothing I could do. Arranged a job. He had a client going to, I think it was Peru. Arranged for with a security company there to provide them with services, meet the client at the airport, etc., etc. This guy sent a deposit, sent a retainer, a couple of $1,000. Client leaves wherever, I think it was out of the Midwest somewhere. Client arrives in Peru. Next thing, the guy the American was getting a phone call from the client saying, well, I'm at the airport, where's the security? When the American tried to call his subcontractors, nobody's picking the phone up. They took the deposit and they took their retainer and disappeared. So now this guy had a client stuck in an airport in Peru, waiting to be picked up, waiting for the security that wasn't going to turn up. So made him look a little bit stupid. So this is where you got to be very, very careful who you're dealing with. And this is where these days I would sooner turn down work and offend people by saying, no, I can't help, especially older clients. But my older clients understand me. I would sooner not take on work and deal with people I don't know and I can't trust than put myself and my clients in potentially embarrassing, difficult and dangerous situations. So be careful if you're giving out recommendations. So in the meantime, as always, be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble. Follow me along on social media. We have an array of books up on Amazon, and there's a load more of these videos up on our social media channels, and we're back up on all the main platforms. So follow us along. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out, and if you require services, reach out. We can have a conversation and see if we can do something.